my Ficus Microcarpa to work on today. Just real quick here before I forget, sometimes I forget to mention things like this. I do live in Florida. These stay outside all the time, all year long. It is, I think today's December 30th. I have not worked on this guy since November of last year of 2024. I've just been letting some of my trees grow out a little bit. I think I was overworking some of them just in the interest of probably trying to make too many videos. So I've been letting this one go for a little while. It's about time. You can see on the interior here, there's a couple yellow leaves here and there. We've had one cold snap this year. Tonight it's going to get down to about 40 degrees. Most of my microcarpa like this will wind up turning, they'll wind up getting a bunch of yellow leaves on the interior. They kind of wind up just falling off on their own. And I figure right around now it's just a good time to go ahead and work it, get some wire on it. I can leave the wire on until probably early spring, midsummer. Let these branches kind of set over the winter here and everything. But of course, before I decide to put wire on it, I'm just going to see what I got in here. Show you guys the back side here. Alright, so I was editing that video and I just kind of realized that when I started this tree a couple months ago, I did a video on this tree a couple months ago, I said the same thing. I said I was going to get some wire on it when I was done. And then once I got in there, I just kind of realized that a harder prune was a little more in order. And I just kind of thought I'd show you. This was just about exactly 2 months ago. It was like October 28th, I think. And just trying to kind of show you what now I can do, or what the results are without the wire. Gets these big, huge clusters of foliage I can work with now. Cut all the way back in October, and now here we are in December, and it's budding nicely like this. And really also in a way just kind of showing off this tree. Sometimes I do the videos when they have the biggest leaves on them, and then I cut it back to nothing, and you don't really get to see what they look like in between. And this is kind of what it does look like there. Alright, and just kind of didn't really want to take too terribly long on this, but definitely looking pretty good. And just about time we get back to that other tree again. Just thought I'd take a little break. And as I got this backside up, once I get all these leaves off, you'll be able to see a little bit better. This was a part of a taller plant. Go ahead and start shooting you some of those pictures now. It was a part of a taller plant. This side here was attached to the rest of it when I split it off. This other side was the side that was showing, if you will. And so that's the side I've chosen to make the front. I think I've talked about it in previous videos. Whenever I decide to do a repotting, I am probably going to take this little piece here and try to separate it off of there. I think this has been repotted, I think it was about 2019. It's one of the pots I've had for the longest time. It is a bag pot. This thing is going to be a real bear to repot one day. I may do that here soon because I do believe I have it in the older soil. But you can also see that it is quite healthy and not really in, quote unquote in need of it, other than the fact of it's going to be hard to get out of this bag shaped pot the longer I keep it in here. That's about the only reason why I would really need to repot it. And when I say the older soil, I just mean I used to buy their blend. I think it was like they've changed prices a little over time, but I think it was like $45 for five gallons or something like that. And now I go with a coarse premium blend. It's a little bit more, but the old blend had turfus in it, and I think that does kind of set up a little bit. But like I said, it is draining, and the tree's perfectly healthy, so nothing wrong with it. I just kind of like the other blend a little bit better. It does make for easier repotting too, because it doesn't quite set up so much as the turfus does. But alright, and before we get in here too deep, that's what she said. If you look, I don't have this tree actually tied in. I don't try trees in unless they actually need it. But this root here I don't know how well you guys can see, it's kind of heavy and it's hard to hold into place there. Almost fills up the entire one of the tie down holes. The drain holes here are okay. There's some roots coming through there. It's amazing though that one root just came through there like that and is that thick, taking up the whole hole there. I'm gonna take a look at that here in a second. Always amazed by the power of these trees. That's where it was coming out of that hole. And then those are the roots that was coming off of it there. I actually, I've always had this either sitting on a slab of concrete or under cinder block. It's never even been on top of dirt. But it just came out of that hole and found its way around. I actually moved it. I do like to rotate my trees, and I noticed that how thick that root was getting. And so these have actually not been really attached for all that long. Today when I picked it up, it came no problem just because I did rotate it. It was probably about a month ago I did some rotating of the trees out there. And then I thought I'd also just kind of show you that some of you with good eyes may see, but thing was starting to get some fruits on there, some little figs. Seems to be concentrated all around in this area of the tree here. Doesn't seem to be too much on this side, although there's one right there. Pretty interesting for this time of year. Go ahead and just kind of show you some of my thought process here. But even this branch right here has the looks of a shoot that kind of went out too far. And I was thinking I'd have to cut this off the tree here. But I can actually see where I tried to wire this up before to become part of the apex. This is a strong part off a branch here. And then it's kind of bar branched with this side here. And so if I cut that side off, there's some downward growth right here. And then this branch does have some ramification coming off. Like there's another sub branch right there. So I'm going to cut off like 2 or 3 leaves below that. And then go ahead and defoliate all that. Alright, so as I take a look at it now, a couple things I decided. First off, instead of getting wire on it, I'm just going to cut it back a little bit further than I was originally planning on. A couple branches right here that I can just, I just kind of knew I wanted to do something with. This branch is super close to this lower one here. And it's kind of, there's no other really branches like that here, like bigger branches like that are right on top of each other. I want to keep it. So I'm going to go ahead and just try to direct it a little more up and away from that other branch, if you will. And since I decided to not get wire on it, I'm going to cut back some more of this. Again, like I said, a little more than I originally did. And of course, another, right when I kind of came out of the main part there, I have decided I'm going to take this guy out. When I repot it, I was thinking about trying to rip it off there. It's going to damage the main tree a little bit. I was leaving it on because I had problems with one of my bigger clumps where there was some little cuttings like that in the clump that kind of rotted from the middle and made it rot from the inside out. And of course, that tree, I wound up with 2 good trees to save there and everything. But I've just decided I'm going to go ahead and just take this whole thing off and not going to bother trying to save it anymore. I don't want to be in a hurry to repot it for that reason. And it's just kind of in the way. If you... And let's see here. And I'll just see how that kind of blends in with the rest of the stump there. And now when I do repot it, I'll just hit it with the knob cutters harder if I need to, but maybe over time it'll just kind of envelop it anyway. Now, part of my reasoning for not wanting to put wire on it, I think there is plenty of movement in what I've got here, but also just trying to preserve some of these aerial roots. I like the banyan look it's getting. I have a theory that when a plant gets more root bound, pot bound if you will, starts to throw some aerial roots. A few people have really tried to argue with me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I really don't know what I'm talking about, but I have noticed that the longer I have these trees in pots, the more they start dropping roots. Couple of these. See this branch here. I think I'm going to take that whole thing off. So it is on that back side, but also these two are just kind of coming onto each other a little bit more. Doesn't really make sense. And there's the last look at the front. Also, without getting wire on it right now, can really let this guy go into the spring and summer and not have to worry about the wire biting in too much. If the wire was on there, I'd really have to cut it back and get in there and get the wire off. Now I can just kind of maybe do some little light pruning here and there. And I'm looking forward to see what happens.